So this evening we have this opportunity to reflect on the Dhamma. So this ability to reflect should be emphasized that it's not a kind of instruction or telling you anything, but what I say is for reflection, contemplation, just noticing how it affects you, using awareness as your means to just be present and be aware. Be fully here and now. When we listen to Dhamma Desanas, we can use our thinking mind, and whether we agree or disagree or like what we hear, don't like, or whatever, but that's not what I'm interested in, whether you approve or disapprove. But whatever reaction you have, to be aware of it. It is what it is. So if you find what I say confusing, be aware that confusion is like this, or if you like, or what I say, liking or approving or disliking or disapproving, being the knower, that which is aware of the way it is, rather than, I'm not trying to convince you, convert you, or try to bias you in any way. So this sense of awakening, attention in the present. And of course, this is the only possibility we have to free ourselves from delusion and suffering. As long as we follow our likes and dislikes and our approvals or disapprovals, then we're caught in that realm, the duality of our thoughts. And just to reflect on what thinking really is, it's a man-made function. I mean, we have language, we have retentive memory, which we don't make, but then the natural part of our human state, remembering, but we also have language, thinking, in other words. And thinking is a dualistic function of the mind. So when you think good, bad, right, wrong, heaven, hell, notice whatever you think always has its opposite. Thinking is for division. It's for criticism, for comparing. So it's a critical function. We think about what is the best or the worst, or how things should be or shouldn't be. And of course, our culture and our conditioning is very much one based on thinking, on developing thought as the highest human attainment. So we develop reason, our rational abilities and logic, various ways of thinking in organized structures. We can use fantasy or whatever, but thinking itself, just to notice that it is a creation. It's our creation. And we're very strongly identified and intimidated and bound to our own thoughts, our own memories. And of course that always limits us, binds us to what is basically unsatisfactory. So when the Buddha pointed to suffering or unsatisfactoriness as a noble truth, pointing out a reality that as long as we bind ourselves to what is unsatisfactory, how can we ever feel satisfied or complete or whole if our identities are always with what is incomplete, what is unfulfilled? So the only option we have, the only opportunity, say at this present moment, is to awaken the attention. So they call this mindfulness, or they use awareness or whatever, but these are words that convey a simple, immanent ability of being present, of attentiveness here in the present, of opening your this conscious moment. Not trying to think about it or judge it, criticize it, define it, question it, but to recognize just a natural ability we all have to pay attention, to be fully here, fully present, without projecting anything onto this moment of oneself or ideas, because as soon as you project, that projection of course is based on thinking, how it should or shouldn't be, or what we like or don't like. So in this present moment is all there ever is. There's nothing more than this moment. We can conceive in the present of something more. We can conceive of the future. We can remember the past, and therefore we regard time as our reality. The delusion of our society is time is real for us, and we're bound to calendars and clocks and ways of determining time, because that's our reality. Our sense of ourself is a time-bound condition, isn't it? I'm this body, and I'm 70 years old, because this body was born 70 years ago. Nearly 71 years ago. But at this moment, I don't remember being born. Here and now, just assume that happened because, but I have no memory of that. My mother told me I was born. She was a fairly trustworthy person. But right now, this is the result of that birth in this form is this conscious moment here and now. So we're experiencing consciousness at this very moment, and from this point, from this particular point, this form, this human body, which is conscious. So recognize that, like birth itself, what we call birth is when a separate entity is born, and in that birth process, then it's experiencing consciousness from this point, this perspective of this form here, and this form, of course, is a human form. And it was, it's a 70 years old form, and then it has memories and views and opinions. It's been conditioned by culture, by language, by experience to think and perceive things in certain ways. So when we're born, then we're experiencing consciousness in a separate form, but notice that actually the body is a natural condition. We didn't create it. Consciousness we don't create, but what we create in the sense of the conditioning process is through the sense of a self, an ego, cultural conditioning, and language, attachment to memories, identity with the conditioned realm. So as we grow up, we become bound to these very limited conditions, the physical form we have and its appearance, and we attach to the memories that we have, the identities, the cultural conditioning, what your ethnic background, your racial identities, gender identities, all the rest. These are conditioned into us after we're born. And this conditioning process is artificial. It's made by humans, and it's not natural. We call it an artifice. So we live in an artificial realm of self, of cultural conditioning, of language, and this is our reality. Time